Wow, that was quite a Thanksgiving weekend. And here we go, flying into the Christmas season. Yay! Okay, so I thought we could talk a little bit today about what is Art Nouveau and what is Art Deco. And there are two periods, and people kind of get them confused, but I think it's just because they both have art in the name, because frankly, the periods don't have much in common stylistically, which I was kind of hoping to talk to you about. So Art Nouveau is going to be more like this. It's going to be the very beginning of the 20th century, right, kind of overlapping with the end of the Victorian period and the beginning of the Edwardian period. So 1895 to 1900, 1905 kind of thing. You usually call it circa date it right at 1900, kind of just to bridge the gap a little bit. But for example, this piece is this beautiful chimera. So when I say chimera, have y'all been reading Harry Potter? Do y'all remember your Greek allegories? Anyway, so this is a creature that's not really a bird, although he's kind of got a bird's head. Let me see if I can light him up. He's not really a fish, even though he has a fishy tail, or we could consider it maybe a snake tail, I don't know. And then he has these big wings. So he has these great, big, delicious rose-cut diamond drops that wiggle, or they're articulated. And he has a red spinel eye, and his body, I don't know if you can see it, is covered with enamel. And he is just a super cool, very good example of Art Nouveau. He's got lots of the features. So when we're talking about Art Nouveau, what am I looking for, right? Why am I even referring to it as a period? Well, Art Nouveau was a pushback against the industrial movements that were taking over the world, and basically it was a return to artisans and more humble materials. Usually you're going to find Art Nouveau to be in either silver or it's going to be in gold. So this is actually a combo. It's silver topped gold and super distinctive shapes and lines. So in Art Nouveau, we're looking for the whiplash, which is a long line with a curve to it. So you can see this guy's covered in whiplash with the wings, with the way that the tail fans out, and then the way that all these drops hang. And even the shape of the diamonds in this they're all pear shapes. They're earlier cuts. So as a gemologist, I'm looking like, do the cuts match the piece, and does it all come together as appropriate for the period? So I would say yes on all counts. And it also has a really primitive pin stem with a little tube catch. So earlier kind of a construction. So all of this makes sense. Then the other piece I was going to show you, this is Art Deco. So Art Deco is about 20 years later. It starts around 1915 and then we go through 1935. Now remember, while we're living the periods, they're not so cut and dried, right? Like right now, we don't know exactly what we're going to call this period, but we're calling the period before it the millennials or whatever, and the early 2000s or the 90s or whatever. And maybe one day it'll have an actual name. As of right now, not really. But so when we're talking about Art Deco, we're talking about rectilinear, not whiplash, right? Not like a smooth flowing line, but a much more structured, blocky, symmetrical, very geometric. This piece is a super cool pin. I picked this guy because he's big and he's easy to see. And he is something that's called dress clips, or you can just call it a pair of clips. So it has one long pin stem in the back and the piece comes apart. So why is this so Art Deco? It's because in Art Deco period, women were getting dressed and they were wearing all sorts of crazy things, and they liked the versatility in their wardrobe. So you could actually take this apart and put one side on each dress, on each side, or whatever. You didn't just have to wear this one gigantic pin. So I'm going to show you how to take it apart, but whenever you're taking one of these apart, very first thing is you actually look at how it's put back together, because if not, you're going to have a hell of a time. So if I open up the back and I open up the pin stem, and then you just start flipping up these pieces. Flip up that piece, flip up this piece, and there it goes. That's nice, isn't it? So then you have these two pieces, and it actually has these prongs on it, so when you put it on your clothes, it grips. It has like teeth. And I mean, it's just a super versatile thing. You could wear one, you could wear both, and then this is the cage that puts it all together, right? So you can put it back together and wear it all as one. But you can see that the shape, even though these are just diamond pins, the shapes, the colors, the design is completely, unbelievably different. Nothing in common. But to this day, still are the two big design inspirations for the 20th century. It's either on some level it's Nouveau, or on some level it's Art Deco. And I think that when you get familiar with it and you learn to appreciate both of them for what they are, you can find examples of either period that suit you. They cover a lot of ground, but they don't look anything alike, and it really comes down to the shape and the movement in the pieces.